Hello, good people. You're welcome to Truth Hurts Podcast. Today, we discuss a topic that is boiling in the hearts of Cameroonians across the national territory and beyond. Yes, what are we discussing? We're talking post-electoral tensions and the effects it has had on the livelihood of Cameroonians. Forget about the smile on my face, the faint smile on my face, because I'm not so happy. Yes, and I'm sure Brother Jude and the Lord Jesus and Biggie here are experiencing the same sentiment. But let's get into the matter. Hello, Brother Jude.
Hello, Faith.
How are you today?
I am not fine. Exceptionally, I am not fine. I have always been fine, but today I am not fine. But anyway, I mean, for the sake of the audience, let me be the stronger one. So yes. I am partially fine.
Hello, Biggie. You're welcome aboard.
Yes. I'm surviving.
Nothing was surviving really bad.
Yeah, I'm surviving.
Well, let's get into the crux of the matter. After the October 12, 2025 elections, in fact, before the results were proclaimed, different cities across the national territory had some protest. Yes, before the results were declared, before we found out that President Paul Biya emerged winner, certain inhabitants of different cities took to the streets because they were already sensing that there will be some election result manipulation. That was part one, and that died down. Mind you, after the results were proclaimed, the results didn't go down the throat of some Cameroonians still, and they decided to take to the streets to manifest. A lot of destruction was recorded, sadly, loss of life as well. And since then, life has not returned to normal across different cities of Cameroon. We, for instance, in the city of Douala, we have felt a lot of heat. Yes, cities like Bafoussam as well. In fact, the West region, for instance, the far north, for instance, the north, for instance, and other cities, other regions have not been the same. This has now affected us, and that is what we are about to talk about on Truth Hurts Podcast today. And the first thing that I want to cite as the primary thing that has affected us is the fact that we are unable to go about our lives the way we used to do. Jude, are you free to go about your daily hustle like you used to do, let's say, in the month of September and the months that were past? Would that have passed?
Where is even the hustle? I cannot say I have the liberty to go about my hustle the way I used to, given the fact that what I do, being in media, in events and all of those things, you need people who are happy, and also to do events that you can bring people together and all that. That's the thing. So one way or the other, the post political crisis has really crumbled almost everything. And one other aspect that has really put down everything business around me is because I work a lot with people from diaspora, and most of them, they are very sensitive to systems and the political atmosphere that normally affects what they do and how they invest in the different projects that you have to do with them. Since before the elections, it wasn't my own even started way before the elections, like 3-4 months before the elections. Everybody was like, okay, yeah, let's just wait for elections to come and pass.
It's like they were already sensing that there was something that would go wrong
before we can get back in projects and all that. And then elections came, and elections are refused to pass. even though the winner has been declared already, elections are refused to pass. And honestly, this has affected everything, not just business, but the way I go about life. If I start talking for you, man, go like the crime.
No, normally supposed to talk. Now you will come to talk to them, talk and cry. That's a tiny big compound.
Ma gather the cry. I'll come back to it. I don't know, the big user say, you like say something they do you.
Hey. Anyway, when if you talk, you cry, no?
Yes.
But well, like you were saying, Jude, it's been a year. Honestly, right now it's like we are at the apex of feeling it. But as an entrepreneur, this year has been particularly tough.
Yeah.
Because an election year, and as sensitive as the one we have this year, people were scared to invest. So the kind of business I do, generally you have people who come in to invest in your business, who invest, who partner and all that, and you realize that people are just relatively reluctant.
Yeah.
So that's prior to elections. So I already started feeling the fever. But then all of us were hoping that the election come and pass, and I mean, let's go, let's do something else.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, right from the eve of elections, I mean, people started feeling because supermarkets, boulangeries were emptied on the eve of election.
Yeah.
Couldn't get anything.
There was a queue.
Yeah.
There were queues, not was a queue.
Yeah.
There were queues here in Douala. People were lined up.
just
People buy all bread.
Yeah, just for election, you had people who actually went everywhere, and I'm asking myself, like, okay, so when you, what actually got me worried is you get to a shop and somebody takes all the rice or the back of rice. And you ask, like,
all the rice.
All the back.
Wait, what is all the rice in a shop?
Like they buy all rice for. Men then be wounded there.
You have people
play.
And then the question you're asking yourself is, the next person should get what? You understand? That means you're thinking about yourself, and you're not thinking that, okay, let me even take that another person behind me can even take.
Yeah.
You have someone who comes and takes like 5 bags, 10 bags, and you're wondering. And then
they figure how many people with their house.
Exactly. And then
They
like
buy
you
them
said,
for future.
the election has come and it has refused to pass. Because I mean, just from the day we recorded a couple of tensions in different towns on the day of election.
Yeah.
And then the next day, there's been a couple of action that come and go in Douala, in other towns, and then everybody anticipated the day of the proclamation of the result. We knew it was going to be one way or the other, because when you have a winner, you also have someone who is disappointed, or who is angry, or who is contesting.
Yeah.
And they took to the street in the way they think is okay.
Yeah.
And in every situation, you also know that you have opportunists. Because
who will take advantage of what is happening.
People were out
to
there
just
to say
infiltrate.
they wanted to come and protest. You had guys who were looting. I mean, you have the gas man, super gas man that is on social media.
Yeah.
A guy was holding 3 bottles of gas. And
that boy doing a high.
And
I saw the copy at for Tanzania. Ibare.
So you can imagine. So honestly, it's a tense moment. And just like we're living a capitalist moment where people feel like, why so others are crying, others are trying to make money. So if you look at the cost of living, it's just been held.
Let's now get into the cost of living, because that's the key thing that has affected us. You know, before elections, in fact, on the day of elections and after Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration took to held a press conference and of course gave out guidelines of how we are supposed to carry us or conduct ourselves on the day of election day. We know that movement was restricted in this and this. We knew that no circulation from this time to this time. But the fact that people were already running ahead of themselves to prepare for something that was not very clear as to what they were preparing for. And then now the day of the election finally came, and we already started seeing people crying, oh, electoral fraud here, this is not the number, or this person tried to do this. We saw some of those, people in those different polling stations, some of them were even attacked.
Yeah.
But then let's now come to the fact that I did not see that it would be this bad. Election don't pass now since October 12. The proclaimed result now went at 2 weeks now. Till they know they go back to normal. The other day, I go for market for go buy a tin for cook arrow. I buy arrow. I want ton water leaf no day. Yes. I buy meat. I want ton dry fish no day. The kilo meat woman be the seller. You buy 1 kilo meat for without bone for 3,000. Yes. Now na 3,500. You buy 1 kilo meat with bone for 2,500. Now na 3,000. The thing I said, no, if I beg you, if I go for market, you beg for see chop. Yes, you beg for see chop. The one where you see now suppose they need chop now. Wait till they want chop. They chop now. Wait till they are available. Is it edible? The combination so it go. Yeah, the other day I chop now. Normally suppose the thing everyone that the mixer now. The chop not even need to suppose get some overtaste. It just need for being at the one way if it pass, it be healthy. You take and go, because even tray egg, they deny for sell me full tray egg because they say, well, they for give me a half because other people they know they smoke can buy.
Fade, you are speaking big language.
Papa,
you are the level of the level of arrow.
Okay.
Yeah, the level of meat, bone or no bone, that one a luxury. Gary,
a whole savior.
I went to buy Gary. I know, I go for buy Gary. Oh God.
Wait to happen.
That means one, there was no Gary like in almost 5 different, 6, 7 places that I went. It's finished. And I finally met one lady who said hers is finished. And that I think they said the normal price is 500. one of those. I don't know, lady. They say quantity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no,
rapid. They did in two. One at 1,000, the other one at 500.
Okay.
Yes.
And then they also have a certain tin that's also 500. Like this equivalent, one big tin.
Yes.
Like that. So when I met that lady, she was like, "Well, hers is finished, but she has a sister who sells. Let her child go and show me." But that apparently the sister has increased it to 600. So I had 1,000 on my hand, and I said, "Okay." She said, "But if I go, maybe let me beg. They have 1,000. The woman will accept."
Give you.
I said, "Okay." So the child took me to the lady, and she said, "Mommy, don't send me say." Then say, "Come now, how much?" The woman said 800. So with my 1,000, I was going to negotiate if I could beg and take the two. And that
500.
Yeah, even at 500.
Now 800 now.
So that was like, if I go for 1,200, I can say, well, now 1,000, you know. Then when I went and then she said 800, I just squeezed the money and said, I'm going back home. And then she was serious. She was like, back Gary don't turn. In my mind, I'm like, are you for real? Like this Gary, like if everything gets rough because
I say so one leaks. Now leaks no. One leaks so when they be selling now 150, 200, now 500 now. You dey go for buy green spices for 300 or 500. Then they pick that's then pick now they leave there. Then they cut they leave there. Hey, Jesus Christ.
I believe say almost everything don't change in price, especially of course. I mean for some time actually, not be even just for the crisis. Gary to some extent for people where they really like Gary, they don't become a luxury. Because I mean even for quarter on a normal day I buy those stuffs almost all the time from the Cartier. The kind of cup where they use them for measure you Gary for 100. Even initially Gary used to be 4 big cups then for 100, but it can become for level where Gary now don't expensive past rice. Actually, that's how it used to sell. But with this crisis now, it becomes more expensive, and now it is scarce. But you will talk about Aero as well. Just the eve of when the voting was supposed to happen, right? People were buying stuff. People went to the market to buy stuff and all that. I be go play ball. They call say, okay, when I want to come and buy some water leaf, so that they use and add some Aero. It be there for
make some small.
Yeah, make some small Aero. So I mean, I actually passed for Bonamusari market for buy water leaf. And behold, the entire Bonamusari market, there was no water leaf. So since I wanted to be a nice man, I want me na Korema, I don't want just leave am for no buy water leaf. I say, I go for Marché des Dos. I enter Marché des Dos for Bakwan. I find water leaf so tea and not see am. I eventually go see now some one woman they say water leaf there for the day as a gold. When you touch water leaf, it tell you, they buy water leaf without Aero, they buy Aero without this. And then as I stand there, water leaf that used to sell maybe for like 400, it's saying at 700.
I say some bond the way they be selling for 500 now 1,000.
Yes, so
they beg you.
As I bend down, I touch him. As I want to wake up for ask the price, he tell me the price. I want look, so another person don't already pay pick two. I don't pay pick one now. Then some lady now say no, okay, you go take him. The woman say don't finish. As in now the way the things are, you don't even need for as in you will not get money, and this is where the problem is. You will not get money becomes a problem because there are people who actually want to bargain because they do not have money. But those who have the money, like you were saying, somebody going to a shop and buying 10 bags of rice, 5 bags of rice. There is even somebody where they take you in for questioning, where they see you with that kind 3 bag gari. They say no, you need to really explain where did it go on. So I don't really understand what is happening.
It's not making sense.
I think my worry is how greedy.
Yeah.
How greedy our compatriots can be, especially in a moment of crisis. And I feel like it is this greed that pushes insecurity. That aggravates.
Greedy by compatriot, you mean who them?
We are all Cameroonians.
Okay. We the Cameroonians.
We Cameroonians, I mean, it's our reality, When I feel like it's that greed that is aggravating because there's already insecurity, but it's aggravating because when everybody has to survive.
Yeah.
Now imagine that you go to the market and you sweep everything, and then somebody doesn't have, and the person has to be alive. The next thing you think is how to get to you, even if it's not. But that's a temptation.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you are in the market because there are even prices of things that have skyrocketed. I don't know, like gas. Okay, because some people may say, okay, maybe Aero na say the roadway they come for car supply Aero.
Yeah, some people say gas man at 10,000.
Yeah, so the video say roadway they bring supply, most say Aero na say they don't block the road.
Yeah.
Gas.
No, but they be expensive gas now
Even
because they burn
transport
petrol
for
station
go
them.
certain places.
No,
Now
they
they
burn
burn their own transport.
They burn petrol station them and then petrol station they be arranged. But this is what happens, right? Also, as we talk, like we talk, we as journalists, we also get the right to say the right information. What happened is that they will lock a couple of petrol station where they sell gas for normal price. You get it? And then because people then be really need gas since they prepare for other uncertainties and insecurities, they had now to go to individuals to buy from. And then you know the way these things are. People always create artificial scarcity each time there is a crisis.
So my question is,
so they add the price. And
because especially the
priority when you need
it, it is the simple truth. Artificial scarcity will always be pointed at the time like
the
this.
normal price you're making gain.
Yes.
See, you don't say Cameroonians them go. No feel say people them go care about what to be right or wrong at this moment.
Tradixi says gas at 6.5.
No, that's where
normal price.
No, that's where my worry comes in.
Yeah.
That when you, because at 6.5 you're making gain. You understand?
Yes.
Now something happens and your market now is the demand is high.
Yes.
It means that you have to. It's an opportunity for you to sell everything you have and make money.
No, maybe add price so that you can make more money.
No, the point is when you. That's where my worry is. You understand? I'm not. Is that when you want to make more money at the expense of unavailability of money, because we are in a situation where people will be locked down.
Mm-hmm.
People will be in their homes, which means they don't make money. It means people are actually taking their last savings or their last income to survive. And then when at that point in time, when you increase the prices, you understand? The irony is that even you who receive the money cannot even spend it.
See, the truth is you don't expect Cameroonians to be acting right at a time like this.
Exactly.
That is why it is important that peace should reign, justice should prevail.
Yeah.
Because these are the downsides of when there is no stability or peace. We are talking about the consequences. You feel so they can even those people that are buying those 10 bags and 15 bags or 20 bags, they fear. They had the cut now. If you go for market and say, man, I know because see what happened. You need to see those images. If you be there for some side way violence will erupt, you go see the way the team be there, like say you start feel like say maybe tomorrow you go what's past. So imagine say even after
they shoot them because they come to go find team but chop.
Thank you. Imagine say even after places have become calm, the entire week was still we still had semi more like we say in French. Yes. People they had this stick cut and imagine say you don't get job for house. I never see markets. I begin for outsource with myself to find way for same person reach market on my behalf. Because I had the cut.
Wow.
Yes, I had the cut because say if I go reach, I told myself okay, first of all, I did for TV every day. A few people that know that when I work at market, people they call me la journalist. I say smarter they see me la journalist. Say, oh, you be talk so and so I no be talk, but can't give me the heart for talk.
Exactly.
You has to be saying laughing.
Yeah. Because there is something.
I don't get the courage to talk. But the thing is, people that are not responsible for certain things are found in the midst of what they did not create. So any man that they find a way will say, hey, let me save my head. Let me protect myself. And they talk about the other day, my gas finish. Well, I stamp over fire. I say, okay, I cook my conch because I don't know how. As I stamp over fire, my gas off in my house start cut. I say I go do now. If I go now go buy gas, I say gas no day. Which I don't just soak conscious, soak hot. You don't enough way go. Last me like an entire week if I chop and small. Luckily, I call person. The person waka because you don't be there for the normal places. Mm-hmm. The person waka. So they finally I give for that give some small motivation, spending extra. For on top way to win on me because and then even when we know that things are getting better, that fear. Yeah, because any man they look say now woman go which person go come out first. Now you go come out first, but know whether go test. We'll see where that place they okay. They make me to accommodate.
It's really
not making sense.
It's really a tough moment, and like you said, it's Masami, and this is the last trimester of the year. It's one of those periods where businesses are maximizing for end of year festivities. This is when people are planning their. I had known someone who's canceled the wedding because of the.
Wait, because of this?
Yeah.
No, but me the person cancel wedding. Would they for crisis wedding?
Yeah, no, the person had
no,
the person had programmed the wedding.
That one not even get in the news. Would they try for chop and they don't plan wedding?
The guy had programmed the wedding like six months or 7 months ago.
No,
Cancel and make
no, let him cancel
the wedding.
Me send me small
This country first. You want marry wedding?
Who they will cry with mama
Now
marry?
the phone I said no, instead of cancel, we don't cancel the marriage. Check my use both be service stated now. So that you lost.
Me the man, Charlie the man should be chopped up.
My go be MC. Now do that the man lost am. How will usually we go pay rent am?
And honestly, more talking about businesses because people then they were imagine that those shops that were looted, innocent Cameroonians going about their lives. They can't enter thief for your shop, scatter your thing and carry all thing go with them.
Truly, on like I said in front of the camera, there's just so much I cannot say.
Of course,
honestly, but to be very candid, those who looted, I don't know how to describe them. Because when you look at the places they looted, they are just people surviving. It's like you break into the shop of one guy who's struggling. Because if you say let's say you guys are out because the country is tough, things are rough, everything is not okay, the economy is not the economy in Africa,
and then you go to attack
and then
your
the
fellow
next
man.
person you're looking is somebody who is also struggling to build his own business.
Doesn't make sense.
When you do that, the question I'm like, okay, so what impact have you created apart from frustrating another?
And I think that this is probably one of the reasons why the government is frowning at protests, because apparently they will not be able to contain the consequences. Because I've been asked questions. I was asking a colleague the other day. I said, what if in other countries when people are protesting, the government, the military or the authorities, security forces, they accompany these protesters. You carry out your protest and everybody comes back home. I said, okay, why can that not happen like that in this country? And then the person was saying that, well, probably because we don't have the capacity to contain. Because inside those protesters, there are the security forces. Shouldn't they know that these things are normal? Because you cannot claim to tell people that, okay, you can go for peaceful protest, and at the same time you're saying that you cannot go for peaceful protest. But the reason they gave is in the midst of those protesters, there are the crazy people, there are the vandals, the ones that are looting and the rest. So where does that leave us? It means that if you are angry with the way things are going and you want to make your voice heard in the most peaceful way, you still cannot, because there is no guarantee, because it's not making any sense. It means they'll not ever protest or how it means it, because and then even those people that are going out to, even those Cameroonians that are going out to loot, stealing and destroying things, they are the biggest part of the problem right now. Because if you really want to make your voices heard, why don't we just go like responsible people and do the right thing?
Now there is something.
Do it the right way so that everybody can go back home safe and sound. People have died because of this.
There is something we need to understand. There's something we need to understand. Sometimes, when we talk, there are things that we cannot control. When we talk about people protesting, we are talking about a whole country. And in the midst of people protesting, there are normally sane people and there are people who are not sane. And it's very clear that in the streets of Douala, for instance, we have a lot of Nambokos.
Insecurity is high.
We have a lot of people who look for what to eat, who look for an opportunity to even pick something, even in the midst of so many police people. Then think about when they have the possibility to even do something and
under the pretext of some other thing.
Now this is how looting generally happens, even around protests and all. Many people do not go out to go and steal. Most people who even carry those things take advantage. Why? We are moving around and then somebody passes by and then he's courageous enough to maybe hit somebody's glass, phone shop glass, and it breaks. The next person coming will be like, hey, the glass has broken and let me take something. The next person finishes to break it, enters in, and that is how it becomes something really serious. Now, talking about what security forces are supposed to do, it is very clear that when we talk about peaceful protests, whatever it takes for the security forces to protect both the people protesting
and the integrity of the state,
and also the property of the people who are not protesting, and also the property of the state, which means that rather than maybe the forces of law and order standing on the opposite side and wanting to block people from coming towards some particular area, they can walk by the sides of these places and also just protect those things for people to break into them and all that.
That's a good suggestion.
If forces of law and order come to protect these things and also protect people and try to make them see reasons why they should be peaceful, people can be reasonable enough to stay calm.
I've seen some
what causes
videos.
most of the problems is that when they start coming, they start sending them
Yeah.
away. And when they start sending them away,
They
when
get
they push,
aggressive.
there is
Yeah.
tear gas, there is this and that, and then they get aggressive.
But let's also applaud the some exceptional uniformed men who
Yeah.
spoke to the population. There are some uniformed men that also accompanied the population and they
Yeah.
did their protest peacefully. That spoke to them that if you want to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's now move. You wanted to say something?
I think the danger and the goodness is in both sides. You have uniformed persons who are professional, and you have those who have a gun and just want to enter history by using the gun. On the other hand, you have the population who just wants a peaceful protest, and you have also people who want to take advantage. Because like you're saying, I saw a video where a uniformed person was stoned or hurt, I think on the head, and a group of young men brought him to their home and they treated him.
I remember.
It was a
that
beautiful
video.
scene to see, to understand that, listen, the idea here is not you I want to kill, to bring him as a uniform man and dress his wound, ensure that he's fine. When I saw the picture, it was interesting to also see the video talking where you met the military guy or the uniform person talking to the population, sensitizing
That they
them.
are not against them.
I feel like,
they are not.
I feel like at the end of the
together
day, because I feel like the force of a government is its people. And when the people are uncomfortable about something, even if it's just a minority, because I want to try as much as possible to stay apolitical or not give a political view, but just speak like a citizen in a nation. Even if it's just a minority who's angry or feel like there's something, I think it's a call for consent, be it for the state or whatever. So, and then you have also some influencers where you have some persons who've taken it to spark up, because sometimes you realize that some of these things, what is happening in society is on social media. You have some people who are like, okay, go there and do that, or target people or do this. Why have some people? So for me, I feel like at the end of the day, we just want things to really just be calm. Because when you see love in the people, you see on the other hand, you have people who are professional. You understand that at the end of the day, so you just have people who are bitter.
Yeah, but generally, Cameroonians are normally bitter. Personally, I am bitter. I am a bitter Cameroonian because at the end of the day, I cannot complain that things have really been so cool. One of the things that people have been calling for is maybe a president that is available for them. Sometimes in a home, right, when you have a problem and you're looking up to your father for guidance and for some sort of speech to calm you down, and your father is not coming forth, it makes you to assume certain things. And that is what most Cameroonians have been going through. A lot of Cameroonians just assume, because the assumption is that we probably have a father who maybe doesn't care, but we still love the country because it's our country. That is why most of the time people, what they're doing is that they need a better Cameroon. But this does not explain why we have to be in this state, in a state where we could easily just fix it and just make peace.
Very true. You're right. And without necessarily getting into all those intricacies, because we can get into it and just span, because there is just so much that needs to be said.
Price of Gary should go down. Let me speak
Coming back down, that's why we are saying we are now discussing about the effects of something that we believe could have been contained. Right. Let's remember, we English-speaking Cameroonians, the Anglophone crisis started like something that looked like a joke. It looked like it was not going to be this serious, but it became serious. So we are hoping that this issue is contained as fast as possible. I don't want to be afraid. Last week, I did not go to work for 3 days. 3 days I didn't go to work. In fact, since the post-electoral tensions have not been frequent, because I want to save my head. I want to leave, get married, give birth to my children, and also be free to contribute to the betterment of this country. I tell you. But then I'm leaving, I'm going to work. I'm saying that, okay, I can be caught in the middle. I can be the scapegoat. I can be the casualty of something that I'm not actively participating in. I want to go to work, do my job, and come back. But then I can also not be indifferent to what is happening around. So the safe thing to do is to stay in the house. But for how long will I stay in the house? Chop go can't finish. The food will get finished. The other one, you look around, I just get granola oil. The granola oil don't finish. I start check say, Papa God. Because actually, you should not for us every day. You know, so when you do for us, you chop past the way you work and when you work up and down, if you go monitor, I say no, I don't get time. I'll just take some small tea, empty coffee. I take my coffee, last me till about 3 p.m. and the man maybe close work by 3. I don't start feel hungry. I say, okay, man, just tired, 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. After the close work, I come back for house, I want my chop. But you did for house, they least hungry, just do you come monitor your chop. 10 or you wake up maybe for 8 o'clock, you say hungry, you take small bread and butter, you chop. You want be 11 o'clock, you don't chop. One be 1 o'clock, you don't chop. One be 5 o'clock, why you allow you leave? I don't chop like 6 times.
Ma get another angle for
Man go do na ha.
Ma get another angle for the tea.
And picking the 2 day has now, picking the day has.
Yeah,
I
also believe this thing even lead to some illegitimacy in relationship because people they will get it, they not even get people chop at all or boy them. Now they make away people that they actually pack.
You don't move talk for
people that they actually pack. Some girl go pack now go stay for some boy we don't really like it. Just because they want find simple chop, and then some boy too will even come on and go meet up. No, but that is what is happening, of course. Now we get ghost town relationship and crisis relationship because at the fear you the fear. We come together now so that will be stronger.
It brings me back. It brings me back to the COVID era where there was lockdown. People had to stay indoors and all that.
Yeah.
And I said, kids haven't been, because honestly, my kids haven't been to school for 1 week now. And honestly, because the week before, the one day they went to school, not far from Elekam, but Musadi, and there was some tension. I had to rush and pick them. So honestly, that drama of you being someone and tell you that something is happening and your kids are elsewhere, honestly, so they've been home. And then you're talking about now parents have to be at home, couples have to be at home, children have to be at home.
To be in the house.
So there's that part where you guys have to now spend time together. A lot of things that we're avoiding, like the marital crisis are happening now at home.
You don't have anywhere to run to.
You don't have anywhere to disappear. You have to stay at home. And honestly, you are home. You have to face it because you are in between. Like you come up with bullet touch you or you did her. So there are couples who are, and then also there are also couples who are using it for multiplication.
Now I know.
Let's see the beautiful part of it. There's duplication that is happening in moments like this.
Anyway,
but some of the hardest things actually, of course, which is part of the things we were saying, is we really need to look for a way to take care of the rise in prices, because things are really getting so hard. All of these things we're saying, couples staying at home, boyfriend and girlfriend coming together to stay, workers not going to work and staying at home. It boils down to people having to eat something.
Do you know about 10 million, approximately 10 million Cameroonians are living below the poverty line?
Exactly.
Cameroonians cannot afford. Imagine that 10 million Cameroonians before this thing are living below the poverty line. Imagine what those Cameroonians right now are facing.
And talking
it's
about
crazy because we can be saying that it's a small period of time.
Yeah,
do you know what it means to be stuck at home for 2 weeks and you have to figure out what to eat, and you have to make sure that you manage what you eat, because one, you don't have enough money, you're not able to go, because there are people that earn their money daily.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to quote a scenario. There are people whose capital is 2,000 francs. That's their capital. They get up in the morning, go to the market, buy some things, they sell, make a 3,000, and then they eat, and then they go back with a capital. Now imagine you whose capital is probably just that 2,000, and you've been feeding. They pay homes with that capital. You now need to go and buy maybe your tomato or something, and they tell you one tomato is 100 francs. I went to the market just last Saturday to buy stuff and all. I was passing by the market. I wanted to buy tomatoes, and they said one tomato is 105 for 500. Yes. Then I had to ask the lady, but which of this tomato is one for 100? Look at tomato that used to sell for maybe a whole bowl for 500, and they're saying one is 500. This is not funny. One fish that they used to measure in kilos, now they don't even agree to measure in kilos anymore. They tell you one fish is 800, one fish is 900. Now you're buying fresh fish as though it's already roasted fish. Because it's roasted fish that you go and they say this one is 1,500, this one is. But now they're selling you fresh fish 1,000. 500, 800. It's crazy.
Jude, you are talking about fish. I have one problem. Gari.
Yeah, of course, we have agreed that Gari has really gone up, but there is a lot of other things.
Tomato, not liter for red oil. Why you buy 1,000?
If Gari you think about survive. That means everything
people really talk this Gari. So for a long time, Gari don't be like luxury. Maybe you probably think that Gari for village, because to be honest, right? For long we have discussed this thing. Gari has become luxury because Gari became more expensive than rice even before this crisis.
I agree.
So Gari will be safer again. Now rice instead be safer, because if we buy one cup of rice, you boil rice. If you take one cup rice, right, you boil them high.
And the Gari not really high again.
Gari not really high. So to me, I not really bother, but I even bother more about rice, because the way we rice too don't add, and then the
you
oil.
Talk about rice, you talk about the rice, and in fact, now man journey for chop na chop way say they healthy, and then you go down for your belly. because no smart, they.
Which one? Even beans.
Because
You go buy beans. They give you one small cup beans now,
hey,
like
God, I
300.
beg. God, I beg.
I just take that.
I mean,
midi era pass.
Yeah, you need for pass. You need for pass.
Me pass as quick as because.
And another thing that we haven't touched, I think, we are extending the topic, but then the fact that children cannot go to school. We saw this in the English-speaking part regions of the country. It's very wrong. There are children that left school 8 years ago and have not gone back. Imagine a child that was 8 when the crisis started. That child is 16 now and probably has not had the opportunity of going back to school again.
And
or probably a child that was
16.
shot dead, their family members shot dead, and they have not had the means to go back to school.
Yeah.
It happens like a joke, but this is going to alter the education of a lot of our kids, because there are some parts of this country where children are still going to school, but it has been 2 weeks that in other parts parents are saying that no, I prefer my child to stay at home and be safe.
Yeah.
So they will now go back to school when things finally calm down, and they have to now catch up for 2 weeks, and sometimes mechanisms are not put in place for them to be able to catch up. Mind you,
I think
at the end of the day, those children will suffer, because Cameroon's Minister of Secondary Education went on and saying that there are isolated cases where school has not gone on smoothly, but in the majority has gone on. We ask now the question, what will now happen when these other children now finally gone? Those things have to be looked into. So we are sitting here to talk about the effects, and it is true that we have spoken mostly from a point of our stomachs, but that is the genesis of everything. Every other thing about our lives may come into play. The general fact that I am living in my country and I'm scared. Some man say we don't run Anglophone crisis, can't enter Francophone crisis. We talk like play, but not true. Even if it lasts now for how long? People are wanting to go back to Bamenda. You are hearing that transport is 10,000, transport is 15,000.
And will you even pass? Because roads are being blocked
The other
somewhere
day,
around
a
the
friend
West
of mine
region.
tried to go and send parcels to Yaoundé,
Yeah.
and all the agencies were locked. All the agencies.
I think right from I've always said it's not Anglophone. We have a nation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And in all sincerity, because you're talking about this education
school,
thing,
education,
very,
no.
the point is this question even had to come in, or is supposed to come in. Remember the whole September, October period, Northwest and Southwest, there were no schools.
Of course, they always have ghost town there. So
that's what I'm saying, that you can imagine. Like,
remember, there was a 1 month ghost town
before
this election.
Now, before this election, that means when election was entering in its momentum, that's when schools were resuming in the Northwest and Southwest.
There's been a high imbalance.
Yeah, so now you have this should
imbalance.
be like for parents who are very sensitive to the crisis. This should be the third week of many kids not going to school.
Yeah,
because right from the next day after election, a lot of parents just kept their kids at home.
It was even 6 weeks in the Northwest and Southwest region.
Yes.
6 weeks, 1 month, 2 weeks.
Yes. So
then now plus 2 weeks.
Yeah, right now
that is 2 months.
This 2 this. So when you get it and 2 weeks in terms of academics, it's a lot. 10 days of classes is so much you can learn. Or 6 weeks of classes, that's about let's say 25-30 days of classes.
So in a scenario like this, right, I think what would you suggest?
There was
actually
a communique from the ministry that said nothing is happening, but I feel like the idea for me, it's not about children having certificates. It's about children being well equipped with knowledge. And when we need to find a way where the children have the certificates because we are taking it easy, we'll have doctors who are not good doctors. We'll have people because we had to let go.
But even aside the certificate thing, right, we're talking about the crisis and security.
Let me learn on what I'm
Are
saying.
they even able to go to school?
That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning to say, you realize that our kids will not be able to go to school. And with the government who is saying everything is okay, what happens? It means that they are not, it's like, I don't know the word to put, but you say, they feel like it's not a problem. For me, I feel like it's a big issue because kids not going to school, okay? Home, there's tension because honestly, those guys are eating. Let's go that part.
But as a parent, right, would you comfortably send your child to school under this atmosphere?
I made a post, I think somewhere, because I made a post last week on someone who said children went to school and the teachers had to send them away. And the question I asked myself is, why would a parent endanger the kids in a situation where there's tension and you're sending a child out there with for the to the unknown.
And this is now something. Of course, this is where it gets really
Because I will
serious,
not
right?
take my- I will
Because
not
at
take
the
my
end of the
child
day,
anywhere.
I cannot advise any
I will
parent
not.
to send their child to school when they have just a little iota of fear of their child's security. One of the people in a panel in TV said, yes, it's true, our children are supposed to go to school, but the government has to guarantee security and safety for these children. If not, I like my child staying at home. In fact, I don't want my child to go to school. I don't want my child to be educated. I'll educate my child in the house. There is something that people keep doing, right? Forcing people to go to school. It is not proper. I am supposed to feel comfortable to go to school because it is me who wants to be educated. It is not somebody forcing me to get education. So at the end of the day, if people are going to go to school, they should feel safe. So what the government is supposed to be doing is ensuring, not saying, but showing that
like
there is
that.
security.
Ensuring.
It's
It
not
is one
about
thing to
saying
say
that
it. It's another thing
the
to
schools
ensure
are
that they are
safe, and then
fine.
you reach school and then there is some chaos, that something is happening,
was
and then
a-
they allow children to go back.
To start running
How
back
do they
home.
run back
That is
home?
true. Like
It's
what
very
happened here in
difficult for
Douala
people
that
to
day
take care
when
of those
parents
things.
were running to go and get their children from
Yeah.
school. The day when protests broke out. It is one thing to say that open your shops.
Exactly.
It's
And
another
it's
thing
another
to
thing
ensure that
to open
I
and your
will
shop
open
is
my
safe.
shop and I am safe. There's a guy just down at the street here where I work who is always opening his shop, even on the days when they are doing general cleanup.
Yeah.
That guy where he had big soap for doing here. You know how open his shop these days?
Exactly.
As a supermarkets open at early in the morning, 6 a.m. and they close by 5.
You see.
This week, one of the biggest supermarkets, I don't want to call a name for here for Bonamosadi. They don't open for how many days? The other days they open. They lock for 5 p.m. So it is at the end, as we are concluding, because we can talk about this the whole day,
Yeah.
but we need to wrap it up. What we are trying to say is we need to be able to go about our activities peacefully as a country.
Yeah.
That's what I'm concluding for myself, and all of you would say what you have to say. I believe that the government, the authorities that are in power, they already know the grievances of the population. It is no news. That's why your authorities, that's why we have members of parliament, that's why we have senators, that's why we have, in fact, we have DOs and SDOs and people, leaders in different places. You already know what the problem of the people is. If you were actively involved in solving the problems of the people, we will not be here. So we are hoping that the president in his new mandate will do the needful. Yes, Cameroonians are crying for so many things. We hope that him and the other persons that are in power can be able to solve these problems that have been hurting Cameroonians for a very long time. Yes, because we had gotten to a point where it looked like, get right for air your mind as Cameroonian, and that is not how it's supposed to be. We are in a democracy. So hopefully this is sorted out. I want to go about my life. I beg life before this thing will happen. I want to run from Boya. Come on, can Douala. Like I had to go for Douala. I was still at other hardness. I don't know. One came in and kill him. Then you start complaining that Cameroonians are traveling out. Brain drain. Only this year, how many Cameroonians have gone to Canada? Millions of Cameroonians. Is it thousands of Cameroonians have gone to? Is it 10,000 that have gone to Canada? When will these intelligent, smart, hardworking people stay in this country and work hard and ensure that we develop Cameroon? It can only happen when the environment is enabling. If the environment is not enabling, you cannot blame them. So dear authorities that be, please make the environment enabling for Cameroonians. It is never perfect. Every country has its own problems, but quand c'est trop, c'est laid. Yes, let us fix our Cameroon so that our children would have a great thing, a great country to look after when we are no longer here. Your last words, Brother Jude.
Yeah, I mean, be it, in education, the price of food rising, the insecurity and all of that. Like I keep saying, I know that peace is possible and peace comes with justice. But at the end of the day, there is no way a country has never had peace and, justice through fighting, through violent protest and all of that. We are in a post-political, post-electoral crisis, which has to be sorted out. It's true, a president has been declared. And just like you said, we are looking forward to the government entirely, because sometimes we're talking and we're thinking it's just one person. It's not just about the president. It's about the government entirely to put all the measures in place to ensure that Cameroonians have confidence in them once more and believe that we can be able to go about our normal lives. If not, as long as I am afraid as an individual, there is no way I am going to be putting my life in danger just because I probably want to give the impression that things are going well. If things are supposed to be going well, they have to be going well. And then, I mean, I will move around freely. People will go to school. People will eat. People will talk and laugh and all that. But I believe at the end of the day, we just need to be responsible as Cameroonians and ensure that whatever we do it for the betterment of the country and avoid hurting each other.
Awesome. Your last word speaking.
Well, let peace reign. Let justice be there and let the truth prevail. As for Cameroonians, let's be one another's keeper. And so the people who are responsible is those who are in authority now. So if there's anything I have to talk to is to those who are actually right now in power, is that they ensure that people should actually feel safe with them. People should feel like they can talk. People should feel like whatever the plea is, like initially, like I was saying before, that even it's just a minority, let them feel like whatever their crisis is able to be heard. And just like, to borrow your word, there should be that assurance. They should not just be words, that they should not just say, okay, everything is okay. Let people not feel like their complaint is on duck's back. Let people not just, let government just say, no, everything is okay, but there should be that assurance in action that guarantees very much that peace, and that Cameroonians can really look forward to having our beautiful country move ahead.
Awesome. That was the truth that was hurting us for the past 2 weeks, and we decided to bring it here and have a very brief conversation. What's your take? What are your thoughts? What are your contributions? In fact, what do you think about all what is happening, or how has it affected you? We are all Cameroonians, and let's share in the comment section. Do not forget to follow us on Facebook, Truth Hurts Podcast. Follow us on TikTok, Truth Hurts Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Truth Hurts Podcast, and of course, do not forget to subscribe on YouTube. Until next time for another fun conversation. Truth hurts, but must be spoken.